Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most intense, misunderstood, and honestly, ultimately rewarding areas of a Vedic astrology birth chart. We're talking about the sixth house. Now, let me be clear right up front. This is not your standard, easy-breezy cosmic placement. The sixth house is literally the ultimate battlefield of life. It's this cosmic forge where true warriors are made, where they're tested, and eventually where they're handed their power.
I mean, think about it. What if your greatest life struggles, the toxic boss, the chronic health flare-ups, or that mountain of debt you just can't seem to clear? What if they were actually your greatest superpowers in disguise? What if they weren't just random bad luck, but a highly specific cosmic curriculum designed to make you absolutely untouchable? Well, that is the exact premise of the sixth house. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll cover the House of Paradox. Then, 2, Identity in the Trenches. 3, Navigating Office Politics. 4, Healers, Fighters, and Servers. And finally, 5, Remedies and the Breakthrough.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the House of Paradox, Dastana versus Upachaya.
So the sixth house is built on this really fascinating contradiction. It basically carries two completely opposite identities. On side A, it acts as a Dastana. That means it's a difficult house of suffering, governing things like disease, debt, hidden enemies, and everyday pain. But on side B, it is simultaneously an Upachaya. And an Upachaya is a house of growth, one that improves with time. It rules over healing, wealth, and complete victory over those exact same enemies. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth is that possible? Well, it's because they operate on totally different timescales. It's kind of like medical school. The Dastana effects are those immediate agonizing sleepless nights and brutal exams in your early years. But the Upachaya growth, that compounds over decades, eventually turning that exact pain into the extraordinary resilience and prestige of a master physician. To really ground this idea, we can look at the ancient authority, the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra. It states that the native is afflicted by disease, burdened by debt, yet is ever devoted to destroying entities. There's a specific Sanskrit term used here, Shatru Nashaparyana. It essentially means your very identity becomes oriented toward overcoming opposition. You aren't just a passive victim of the sixth house. No, you are uniquely designed to be its master. The struggles you face are simply the whetstone sharpening your blade.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 2, Identity in the Trenches, the self on the battlefield.
So, what actually happens when your first lord, which is the planet representing your physical body and your core self, or the sun, sits right in the middle of this intense sixth house? Well, it creates what we call silent strength. The ego bows down and duty rises up. This is a personality type that doesn't go chasing the spotlight or need constant applause. Think of that unsung hero at work, the one who quietly keeps the entire operation from collapsing while everybody else tries to take the credit. In this position, you build unshakable authority through daily competence, strict routine, and solving complex problems. You learn really early on that effort matters way more than praise. You become the absolute pillar that keeps everything running, gaining immense power just through pure discipline.
But wait, there is a cosmic catapult hidden in here, known as the Viparita Rajyoga. You can think of this as the universe handing you a giant Uno reverse card. It's essentially a mathematical equation where a double negative equals a massive positive. If the lord of a difficult house sits in another difficult house, it triggers a dramatic reversal from profound suffering to extraordinary success. It literally means that the devastating setbacks, the unexpected illnesses, or the financial ruin you might experience are actually the exact launch pad for your success. The universe pushes you down into the dark only to slingshot you right to the absolute top, provided, of course, that your core self remains strong enough to handle the gravity.
Let's move on to Section 3, Navigating Office Politics, Surviving the Corporate War Zone.
Let's apply all of this to a highly relatable modern battlefield, your workplace. Your sixth house actually reveals exactly who is plotting against you and exactly how to defeat them. If Mars is influencing your sixth house, your enemies are going to use open warfare. We're talking shouting matches and aggressive micromanaging. Your strategy becomes so technically superior and brutally efficient that they simply cannot touch you. Outperform and confront them professionally. Now, if it's Rahu, you're dealing with the snake in the grass, the credit stealers, the office whisperers. Your survival strategy here is absolute opacity regarding your personal life, but maximum transparency in your workflow. Document everything. CC yourself on every single email. And if it's Saturn, well, that's a war of attrition with archaic, stubborn bureaucrats who refuse to change. Your strategy is extreme patience. Just play perfectly by the book until their own sheer inefficiency removes them from your path.
The crucial takeaway here is that these toxic workplaces aren't just bad luck. They aren't just a string of terrible bosses. They are deeply intentional karmic testing grounds, literally designed by the cosmos to teach you how to set ironclad boundaries or how to finally summon your courage and speak up. And the amazing part? Once you actually learn the lesson and stand your ground, the negative pattern stops repeating. You literally graduate from the curriculum, and those toxic archetypes just vanish from your professional life.
All right, Section 4. Healers, Fighters, and Servers. The Forge of Careers.
So, how does enduring all this sixth house conflict actually translate into a career path? Well, the immense pressure naturally forges three distinct career archetypes. We're looking at an almost even split here. The healer at 33%, the fighter at 33%, and the server at 34%. Because your identity is placed in the house of suffering and service, you don't just do service work to pay your bills, your very identity becomes the service. You find your true self and your deepest purpose through the specific act of helping, fighting for, or healing other people.
Here is exactly how that breaks down in the real world. The healers use their own intimate understanding of illness and physical pain to become incredibly empathetic doctors, therapists, and veterinarians. The fighters, they take that intense cosmic adversarial energy they've been dealing with all their lives and channel it outward. They become formidable lawyers, military commanders, and elite athletes. And then we have the servers. They take on the heavy, broken, structural burdens of society, becoming government officials, NGO leaders, and dedicated social workers. They literally take the profound pain they've personally experienced and use it to build impenetrable shields for the underprivileged.
And that brings us to Section 5, Remedies and the Breakthrough, the Upachaya Timer. This is where we get to the emotional payoff of the sixth house, the Upachaya age threshold rule. Listen, if you are in your 20s right now, from age 0 to 29, and you're feeling completely defeated by sudden health issues, crippling debt, and relentless workplace conflict, you are just in the Dustana struggle. Do not judge your life by your 20s, because as you hit your 30s, from ages 30 to 45, you transition into mastery. You start learning the complex systems, you harden your boundaries, you pay down the debts, and by age 45 and beyond, the Upachaya victory is fully activated. The former patient is now the brilliant chief of medicine. The former debtor is now the wealthy financial advisor. Your early, excruciating struggles were literally just the training weights for your ultimate expertise and success.
But while you're waiting for that Upachaya timer to click over, there are universal ancient remedies to help you survive and thrive, and they directly honor the sixth house's core energy. First, serve the underprivileged regularly. This is the house of the marginalized, so giving back actively eases your own karmic debt. Second, feed and care for stray animals, as this house governs small, helpless pets. Third, chant the Hanuman Chalisa to build unshakable, warrior-like courage against your enemies. And importantly, actively avoid unnecessary litigation. You already have enough adversarial energy naturally buzzing around you. Do not invite any more into your life. If we distill this into a definitive step-by-step daily survival system, it looks like this. Step 1. Establish a strict, disciplined daily health routine. Remember, the sixth house doesn't care about fleeting bursts of inspiration. It exclusively rewards daily, grinding discipline. Step 2. For major health challenges, ancient sources recommend chanting the Mahamrityunjaya mantra 108 times daily to build an energetic protective shield. And Step 3. Surrender the ego. The sun in this house doesn't want you demanding applause or chasing fame. It wants you fully embracing pure, transformative service to others. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. The exact same fire that forges the blade is the fire that hardens it. The sixth house is not a curse. It is a cosmic initiation. So, are you going to let the toxic workplaces, the mounting debts, and the physical challenges break you? Or will you recognize them as your exact curriculum and use them to build your ultimate unshakable victory? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.